It's your boy Tipsy Japan back with another episode of ATAS across time and space. Good to be back. Got my co-host right here. The co-host that needs no introduction, but I always introduce him on episode 61. Go get it.
61. Oh, we doing the Fox thing. It's your boy Ace of Cross Culture. You already know what it is, man.
Sure.
We out here, despite all of the technical and crazy difficulties that I've just come up with in the last 10 minutes. Right now, I'm actually shooting from my phone because I cannot find my charger to my laptop. I took it when I went to go preach 2 weeks ago, and I don't use my laptop very often. So it's usually for ATAS and preaching. And the devil was trying some stuff that day and everything was going wrong. Lo and behold to me, now I don't have my charger. So there's that.
Yeah, it's like that sometimes, especially when you do something that's outside the ordinary. It just seems like it's so easy for everything to go wrong. Now, what was I doing outside the ordinary today? I wonder. I think it's because I was trying to rock out with this, with that right there. It's a little Japanese.
Nobody can see it.
I'm rocking a hoppy. All right, for our listeners, move this out the way. That's a hoppy. All right. Yeah, you can't read it. Don't worry. All right. Yeah, he's looking carefully. He's looking closely. But yeah.
Are you happy to be in the hoppy? Is the question.
I'm happy to be in a hoppy. Who isn't? Especially when they're sipping on hoppies.
Okay.
I try. But it comes easily. It's flawless. Question: how have you been surviving without ATAS for a whole 2 weeks? That's a question for the listeners, man, because it's like, where are these guys? May we do an episode? Man. May is almost up. It's 5:28 over here in Japan, 5:29 on the east and west coast of the U.S.
What? 5:29? No, you got it backwards.
Oh,
we're a day behind you.
Yeah,
it's 5:27.
You're right,
guys. You're in all of the future.
I'm like way ahead. Like the next day, you guys got to be on the next day, right? That's what we usually do.
No, we not there yet, dog. We not there yet.
All right. You're still working on 5:28 then.
5:27.
That's why you're building up to 5:28.
Okay, all right.
Within a few hours, it should be ready to go, right?
On the East Coast, it'll be 1 hour and 17 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a late night thing over there,
on the
you guys
East,
on the East Coast. Hopefully, as you're playing your classic retro games, Geometry Wars.
What?
Hopefully you're listening in. No, because I had some folks say, you know what? I want to listen to Across Time and Space while playing Geometry Wars. That would be nice. I said, okay. That's
What's stopping you? What's
stopping you? Dial in right now, right?
Yo.
And then turn on your Geometry Wars and just go out in space.
We are on YouTube. We are on Spotify. We're on Google Podcasts. And we're still trying to reach out to more platforms. Apple's probably not going to happen because they want my credit card information. I ain't really with that. Everywhere else is free, and they're just like, hey, host with us. So you're going to try Amazon next.
Oh, Amazon Music. Amazon Music should be a little easier, right?
It's not called Amazon. Audible is what they do their podcasts and their audiobooks. Okay,
now are these all Audible things? I guess everything that's Audible.
Guess so.
Through Amazon is Audible.
Audible.
Everything that's Audible through Amazon is Audible, right?
You trying to do something here?
No, I mean, is Amazon trying to do something, right? Like, is that what's the plan there? Yeah. So on our last episode, we were
Dragon Ball Z. Oh.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say DBZ, but unless they decide to give us some affiliate dollars. On the last episode, we were looking at AI, right?
Talking about not AI, Allen Iverson. Yeah.
Because he was Was he? All right. Um, yeah. So we were talking about AI and invading different jobs, and you asked me a question: if I feel like my job is safe, you
Mm.
know, and you know, I see that as a kind of recap, but then also blending over into what we're going to talk about today. Today's episode is called AI and algorithms, right? And we're going to look at how algorithms influence society, how they're already influencing society and influence our music, arts, and then asking like a couple key questions in there. But I wanted to ask you the question because you didn't answer it last time.
What question was that?
Do you feel AI invading your job, and do you feel the danger or a threat to like some kind of AI system either assisting and then eventually taking over your position?
I feel like I did answer that question.
Feel
We were
that way.
talking about how mine is more of a social work field. So
Mhm.
and I don't know if this was like the afterglow of the show. Maybe we were just talking about it.
That's the thing, yeah.
But with social work or fields of that type where you're getting services,
Mm.
I don't feel that it's all that possible to come into
Mhm.
for, say, ChatGPT to come into or an AI service to come into. Maybe to do some of the legwork as far as this person is likely to come back and need help.
Mhm.
Things like that. But actually giving the assistance,
Yeah.
I feel like it would be a little too cold. A little too cold. I
Mm.
feel that it requires more of a human touch.
Okay.
Because if we just look at the cold, hard data, sometimes I get a case and I look at the cold, hard data, everything that's just in front of me,
Mhm.
and what the person is saying is contrary to the black and white on the paper, or maybe there's a typo, or maybe there's something that shouldn't be there at all. So if an AI is going to look at just what's there, then they're going to be at a disadvantage because of human error.
Okay. So the AI needs humans to look at it and then look at the data that it's producing and then communicate that to other humans.
Basically, I feel that there could be an AI processing component, like a vulnerability index. Hey, this person has been through X, Y, and Z, so they're more likely to be resistant to services, or they're more likely to need more services in the future, or they should be okay with very minimal services. That portion there, and then using that as the baseline to say, okay, this is what we have. Now I need to put my human touch into it and see if this is actually what's going to shake out.
Okay. So I find something really interesting within that. And, we can see it in the banner down below because this is exactly what we're going to be talking about. It's AI assisted humans or human assisted AI. That's what you guys see on screen. Is it that the AIs are helping us, or are we helping the AIs get better? And who is behind the whole thing? My mama asked me a question the other day. She said, I don't like giving my data or sending my data through Google because then I get a whole bunch of ads related to, whatever like personal thing that I'm sending to my medical professional, about that. And I said, all right, Mom, that makes a lot of sense. But so obviously, Google's got people reading through my mail and then sending me. No. It's not a person. It's not a person.
It's not a person.
Right. It's an algorithm. It's scanning through there. And right. So it's not so who's running the algorithm? That's what she asked me. That was the question. And at the end of the day, it's like, okay, there isn't someone running the algorithm, is what I told her, but someone that did build it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, not one person, but a group of people. You would think, a team of engineers working on different parts of it. So it's not it wouldn't or shouldn't be that there's one person figuring it out, because that one person can make human errors. Yeah. But then at the same time, it's like, I think that there's a hierarchy of different businesses that are assisted by AI to a certain extent, right?
Okay.
And Mr. Harari, Yuval Noah Harari, I'm gonna say his name correctly today, as I drop him on the ticker too.
Hey, get it?
Yeah. Mr. Yuval Noah Harari, in his book Homo Deus, chapter 9, section like 30 minutes into an hour in. Right?
Yeah.
We call that 9.2. The what he mentioned in there was like a hierarchy of jobs, right? Like from the top of the list all the way down to like 67% chance that job is going to be taken over by AI. And there were like, I want to say 10, 15 different jobs that he rolled out there. And but the one job that had the lowest, do you remember the job that had the lowest probability?
The lowest probability of getting taken over was at that time, because remember, this is not a book that was written in the last 3 years. This is a book, they're quoting things from like 2014, around there.
Yep.
So this is, when it comes to AI and technology and all of that, a very old book. Because of the leaps and bounds that happen very quickly. If we look at all of history, we see that it took us so long to be able to mine certain minerals and then be able to manufacture things with those minerals, for the simple reason of lack of technology. Aluminum used to be considered a rare earth metal. People were expensive because it was not effectively mined and made into things. So gold was seen as that's an everyday thing. But now we're using aluminum to cover our leftovers to take to work the next day. So the leaps and bounds that happen in the last 20 years versus the last 500 years, those increments are a lot closer. We're looking at, if you're just looking at an inch for the last 500 years, and say it took so long to get to half an inch, but now we're out here measuring in like 30 seconds. So it's like boom, 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 boom. Right. So
I don't know if we're keeping up with that, but I'll say that.
That's
yeah.
Okay. But jumping into what Yuval Noah Harari said about the probability of jobs being taken over and that hierarchy, the safest job at that time was truck driver. It was truck driver, least likely to be taken over by artificial intelligence.
Which Google and Tesla have already they're already doing it,
Which like he did talk about that. He said like this was done circa so long ago, and then in 2014 saying these things are gaining ground. So now we have to look forward. Tesla already has self-driving cars. It's not a pipe dream anymore. Google has Android Auto, which isn't a self-driving thing yet, but they're getting into that market. I mean, Apple has Apple CarPlay. I don't know. People are saying, when is Apple going to come out with a car?
Because they'll buy it. They'll buy it.
Yeah, they buy it.
Apple. Everybody wants a piece of that apple, boy. It's crazy. But there was another job that he mentioned, actually.
Another one.
Yeah, and he mentioned archaeologists.
Okay.
What he said about archaeologists was that it's unlikely that job is going to be taken over because it requires highly sophisticated pattern recognition. And it doesn't produce huge profits. So it's very unlikely that governments are going to dump money into that job. Like, okay, so we were able to dig up some more bones. Like, well, okay, so what?
I see.
Yeah, but truck driver, right? They're delivering the goods, right? You got to ride on the road. An exit sign means exit. Like it's not as future proof, or
especially now
innovation proof. Yeah. Yeah. Especially now, with all these, automatic driving cars, self-driving cars. Like we're obviously going in that direction, but these more super specialized jobs that don't make a lot of money. There's another one called the artist. That was the other thing that he talked about. But
yeah,
not
about that.
Proof, huh?
Not so much. We're talking about AIs. The AI by the name of DALL-E, which is named after, if I'm not mistaken, Salvador Dali, who was an impressionist artist. Surrealism was his medium. There we go.
Yep.
And he's the famous person who did the melting clocks. So everybody's seen some type of melting clock, whether it be in Tiny Toon Adventures, whether it be in any number of cartoons, any number of media, you've seen the melting clocks. So this thing is nice. We actually used it at church.
Oh wow.
Actually used it at church, not for sermon, not like in the divine service, but we were doing something after church and we were talking about some of the beasts in Revelation, and we kind of just put in some keywords like behemoth, which is in the Bible, in the King James version. And I don't think we did unicorn because everybody knows what a unicorn looks like. I think we did Leviathan.
Now hold on.
Which is
for some of our listeners who don't know exactly what you mean by put it in. Oh, put what in where?
So,
Dolly,
it's the text. I guess you have to put in some keywords. I didn't do it myself. I just saw the results spit up.
Okay.
So I guess it's more of a keyword. Instead of a keyword search, you're giving a description or keywords so that the AI can make art based on what is entered. So some of these things that came up, like a little crazy.
Okay, so but this is how is it different from a Google search? You type in this word and you get all these images that are associated with that object.
Because the AI is making the art.
Oh no.
It's original art. It's not, let me look to see what TPC Japan has made in the last 3 years. Let me look to see what Ace of Cross Culture has done in the last 2. This is what I'm looking for. Make it for me right now.
And who owns it?
I don't know. I would not be able to tell you. Go ahead. You want to ask ChatGPT? You're gonna ask an AI to define another AI?
Now, the reason he's saying that, folks, is that last week I was asking ChatGPT. I was asking like every other question. I'm working with people who are using ChatGPT. It's like come up with a PowerPoint for da 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 in a couple days. It's like, all right, make a PowerPoint about da 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 da. And there you go. I can't make it for you in PowerPoint, but this is the title. This is what the slide should be about. And here are some, filler content that you can talk about during the presentation.
That's scary stuff. That's scary stuff.
Like, I mean, you got to ask yourself, who's running the show?
Who is running the show?
Who's running the show? I think when the stakes get higher and higher, you really got to ask yourself, who should be running the show? If the stakes are high and there's a lot of money involved, should we leave that up to a human, or should we have an AI basically running it and have a human face behind the AI or in front of the AI.
Figurehead.
Yeah, a figurehead.
Mercy.
Don't. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. I won't let you answer because
I mean, it reminds me of this little cartoon that I saw once. And I say cartoon as in a comic. There's just two images side by side. The first image was a person holding their cell phone, and the person was saying, check my emails, check my text message. What do I have next on my schedule? And going through all of those things. The next picture.
The person was saying it to the.
Yes, to the phone. The next picture was the phone saying to the human, check your email. You have a new text message. Charge my battery. So I get where you're coming from, and who is running the show to the point where our phones are now listening to us and coming up with different ads, and my Spotify is definitely listening to me because I was singing a song this week and it was in my mix. I'm just like, I love it, but I hate it. So it does come down like who is running the show, because we could say that, oh yeah, we're putting the stuff into ChatGPT or to DALL-E and we're getting what we want back. So we're the owners, but we have to look at the other side. You are feeding that AI, you're feeding that mag information, you're helping it to learn. And will it come to a point where it becomes self-aware and then things happen?
Things happen.
I mean,
not good things, not bad things.
It depends. What are we feeding the AI? How is it going to react to certain things? Because it could be really good. It could be really bad. But ultimately, God's running the show. Just going to throw that out there.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Ultimately.
That's what I wanted to tell my mom. Like she says, all right, well, who's running the AI that's reading all my emails? Or who's running the algorithm that's making all my emails to sending these ads? So I said, nobody. I don't know if God is running Google. Was that the actual CEO? Or
God's not running Google.
Not running Google.
Not to my knowledge, anyway.
If we're looking at other decisions, like as regards to stock, owning different mutual funds, planning for retirement, it's like I feel like I could have a human do that, stock manager or whatever, but that stock manager is going to still have an AI assisting him in making his decisions, right? Or I can have an AI do it. Or let's say AI, but a system of algorithms set in place. I could set the limits and say, all right, sell off this stock when it reaches this price, or buy more of the stock if it gets this low. These are just algorithms that you set in place based on different conditions, right?
I mean, they're more like formulas. I'm thinking Excel. Formulas. Yeah, just boom, really boom, boom.
If-then statements, the whole thing, but they run automatically, so you don't have to constantly look at it.
Yeah,
makes sense to me, but
it makes perfect sense.
It's like, I think once the stakes get higher and higher, I want to say you want, or society is telling you that you want
more of a human touch,
more of a safe AI touch.
Really?
Yeah.
You think so?
Step away from that emotional, uncertainty here and there.
I see. Cold, hard logic.
Yeah. Follow the numbers at the end of the day so that you're not inconsistent. Yeah.
I see.
I don't know. Treating everyone fairly, type of thing.
Yeah.
The question is, I mean, we talked about this in the past, but choosing a candidate, for example, for election, like this person is all right. Here's the data. If the person says something that's too much out of line, or if the person puts money on or allocates resources toward this thing that I'm not interested in, then don't vote for that person.
It's that seems so crazy to me. The way that you brought it up last time is like, if AI votes for you,
yeah,
I feel it would be so crazy. I guess the electoral college would still be a thing, and that would be the checks and balances. I mean, that's what they say they are now. But that whole thing with Hillary Clinton actually winning the election, but not the electoral college. There was a whole thing there. But if AI is voting for people and you have the electoral college still as a check, because it could be something crazy, like somebody comes out of left field with no funding and the AI is thinking this person is a good candidate. We should all vote for this person.
Funding should be, I mean, you can make that choice, but I would say that funding is part of the equation.
Funding is part of the equation?
Yeah, the person is able to raise, resources because they appeal to a certain number of people. Like that's something that I would want as part of the equation. I can't see the politician 100% of the time and everyone that he talks to. So I want to know that his money, he's been willing to put his money where his mouth is, and other people are willing to invest in him, because that means that he's strong for business to a certain extent. Now, what businesses? Okay, if he's supporting dirty businesses or vices, then all of those funds are discounted, or in fact, I'm going to count those doubly negative. So you actually spend some time building your algorithm so that it reflects your values.
I get that to a certain extent. But yeah, it has to be a big but. In the US, there are actually 4 major parties. But you only hear about 2. Why do you only hear about 2? Because they have the funding. So they pick their candidate to go into the running, or you have the primaries, which you have like 4 or 5 candidates, and they battle it out for that one position, and then they pick their running mate. So you go into this with a bunch of funding.
Got it.
You go, but it's not yours. You didn't raise any of the capital.
Unless you're Trump, yeah.
Trump didn't raise any capital. He bankrupted himself like how many times? Yeah. Honestly and truly. Like, I don't think it was all that much of his own money for his own running. I think it was the backing of the Republican Party.
Not so much, though. Not so much.
Not so much?
Yeah, like he actually just like, look, I got the resources to say exactly what I want, and nobody's going to stop me from saying it. If somebody else is in your pocket, then you have to listen to what they say. He wasn't in their pocket like that. That's why he got on so many people's nerves. But hey,
he was reckless, man.
yeah, he's gonna be reckless again. He's coming back. But
don't say that.
To stay away from politics and really kind of think that thing out. Like, unless you're the type of person that likes to sit there and listen to these politicians lie through their teeth. I want to know what the bank account says. Follow the numbers. If that's important to your algorithm. Because the decision we make is also a series of algorithms, but then we get emotional. You think of the very last thing, going back to the narrative self, the very last thing that the person said, and the very first impression that they made, and you just come up with an average based on that, and then that's your impression. It's basically done. Yeah. We think that we're processing everything out, but we are sitting there with 2 brains, All right, the one side with this emotional experiencing things and mood and all that, and the other side just looking at the narrative.
I don't know. For the simple reason that you do judge somebody within the first 15 seconds of meeting them or seeing them. I feel like that has a lot to do with our decisions. And maybe it is based on the more emotional side because it's not. You can't judge a book by its cover. And I get that. And I truly believe that. At the same time, I'm not going to. No. At the same time, I'm not going to look to somebody who is disheveled in appearance and say, I want to put my money in their hands. Yeah, I'm not going to see a person who is battling homelessness and say, here, I want you to invest this money for me. That is not the first thought on my mind. But now if you look at the AI part of it, if AI knows me so well that it can look past that or even say, this person is like this, you're not going to like it. I guess it would make sense, but I don't want to. Like I said last time, I leave the voting to me. Okay. I don't want to just be like, hey, go ahead and vote for me. There's so few things that I feel I still have control over, and that is one of them. Please leave the voting to me. So the AI processes everything, based on your preferences, based on the algorithm that you programs with it, after answering a series of questions as it relates to all the different things that are important. But at the end of the day, you want to go and line up. So you would rather have, or you want to write it down yourself and send it in? Yes. We discussed this last time. I do not vote at the polls.
You don't vote at the polls, right?
I will submit the mail-in ballot, call it a day.
But you would be okay with the AI giving you a recommendation. This is a recommendation.
A very detailed breakdown of each candidate, yes. Not saying this person is the recommendation that you vote for. Like, it is recommended that you vote for this person. No. You already voted for me at that point.
Hold on. So you have, there's a long description of both, right? But here's the TLDR. You're most likely to be happy with this candidate.
No. That can't be the TLDR. The TLDR is something like, this person supports music and arts in the schools. This person supports
the other person.
Same person supports going to war.
Yes.
Other person has more socialistic views and supports lithium mining in America. Both people have good and bad, because lithium mining is, not that it's bad, it's tedious, and a lot of people can come out with health complications and stuff like that.
We should have AI controlled bots, AI assisted bots doing that. Yeah.
That might be a good thing. But the person that supports art and music in the schools, which I'm very in support of, also supports war. So then I can say, all right, this is the TLDR. I need to make my decision based on this. What is the lesser of two evils? That type of thing.
You wouldn't just ask it which is the lesser of two evils.
No. You have a very in-depth relationship with ChatGPT. You are in there. You are in there. Why haven't I heard of this TV show? Like,
well, the thing is, I've been I've been asking it questions, so it remembers the things that I'm asking it about.
That's how it starts.
Well, that's appreciated. We talked about this before. Yeah. Oh, we talked about this. You mentioned last time that. Hey, it's good character.
Crazy.
Hey, Kareem. Kareem-san, you wrote this down on a pen and paper. You asked me to write it down. You told me that that's what it is. So
I'm done.
Yeah. I don't know. I think humanity is done. Is done too. But
the originality thereof.
Yeah, like we gotta do it AI assisted at this point. Like, who doesn't drive AI assisted? Computer assisted.
Not I. Computer assisted. All cars since at the very latest 2010.
Yeah.
Because all cars made after 2010 have a backup camera. It's supposed to be a standard thing after that point.
Beep, 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 beep. You get in too close.
Yeah.
So
definitely after 2015.
Nobody's gonna be driving unassisted. Yeah, I mean that's the future that we're looking at, and that's what's being explored in chapter 9.2. Yes. It's an hour and a half long chapter, so I think next time you're gonna finish it out.
You want me to do the last 44 minutes?
44, yeah. I don't know. I'll take the last.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll make sense. It's been your boy TPC Japan. I think that's what it is. And asking you if the AI is saying the same, If the AI says that's what it is, then that must be what it is.
Oh no.
Must be. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm gonna put my faith in a higher power. So I'm gonna say until next time, stay prayed up and be blessed.
That's cold, man. That's cold.